Here I am to tell you another story. And I tell you what, God talks to me when I'm on my walks, especially. And I think this is another really good example of how the Word of God and the lessons that He has for us are certainly embedded in the natural world. So, another way that we can have this communion with God is to spend time in nature and to listen and think and really meditate on things as you go, and see what you see and hear what you hear and know what you know. So maybe a month ago, when I was on one of my walks, I looked down and I saw a quarter. I didn't know it was a quarter. I saw something round and I bent down and I dusted it off and it was a quarter. And I thought to myself, a buried treasure. And I heard inside my head God say to me that if you find one, you can find them all. And I do. I find buried treasures everywhere. And it reminded me, so I'm walking, and first I take a detour by the water and I find this gem, which I know you can't really see the shape. And I'm like, is it a spear? Is it a bird? Is it a boat? And so it has two layers to it. So it's kind of like two in one. And it reminded me so much of one of my favorite songs that I've ever heard by my favorite songwriter in the world, called Doubleheaded Eagle. And so I think this is my double-headed eagle, and I'm going to keep it forever. And my favorite part of the song is about a double-headed eagle, how it has two eyes to heaven and two eyes that cling to all earthly things. And that song is just beautiful. And Daryl Scott, if you're out there, I'm so appreciative of everything that you write. And also of the person who introduced me to that song. And that's important because it reminds me of a story in the Bible. So this person who I dated was a wonderful, wonderful person. And he even gave me a gift. He gave me a fish once, and I named that fish after him. And then another story about how the fish died. But he was such a wonderful person. But he wasn't for me. And he had a very good friend who I spent time with instead. And not to be mean, it was just a better match at the time. I think it was something that I needed, and it went well. And I think there was, some resentment over that for a long time. But sometimes the wonderful person that you meet is not for you. And sometimes even the one that is for you is for you only for a time. And I think that's an important lesson. And, we can be reminded of these things, because the inside of everything expresses itself, and you'll be reminded again. And then also I found another little treasure, and I'm almost running out of time, but I found this Pokemon card that has a little leaf on it, and it says energy. And it reminded me that a very young, perfect little princess told me one time that if she forgets herself, that it isn't personal, that she just dropped a leaf. And so I found it. And so all is right with the world. Again, in the peace of the Lord, there is nothing missing and nothing broken.